we're live.
Oh.
Hi, my name is Ashley Sher. I'm the founder and CEO of ShareLove.Fund. Today we have a prenatal class. We have our guru, lead teacher trainer, Peter Iocovello from Presence Wellness in Westport, Connecticut. So we're lucky he's made a house call. And
glad to be here.
we are going to continue our RPYT yoga teacher training. Thank you so much for doing this. When you pay for yourself, you also pay for an incarcerated woman to earn her degree. And we are in week 5. And each week, as we discussed, we will highlight a pose. And the pose that we're going to highlight this week is Tadasana. And then we'll go into an hour and a half yoga flow for second trimester beginner pregnancies, but it'll be prenatal safe for everyone.
Yes.
Okay,
So just whether you're in first trimester, second trimester, always check with the doctor before you do embark on any exercise or yoga. And this is not meant to replace anything. This is just meant as a guide. And Ashley is here to demonstrate the poses as we move safely through this practice. Again, the biggest thing you can do is check in with your body, make sure it is safe for you. Everything that we do is just an offering. So Ashley, I will ask you to come to mountain pose or Tadasana. In mountain pose, it's the foundational pose in yoga. Although this is the 5th series, 5th class, Tadasana is the foundational pose. Sometimes if you feel like you can't do anything, just know that Tadasana is the safe pose that everyone can do. Everyone, wherever you are, pregnant, not pregnant, injured, not injured, you can do Tadasana. So today, Ashley is going to show us what Tadasana looks like. And again, this is not about the perfect pose. It's about finding, molding, and feeling your way in and not forcing anything. So Ashley, I'm going to have you point all 5 toes, all 10 toes forward. So just see how she turned her heels out? Because sometimes we're not understanding. So just a little adjustment, turning your heels out. Now I'm going to ask you to walk your feet just an inch or 2 together. And one great way to measure is take your 2 fists together, bend your knees safely, and then just lower down. And then just see your feet should come just about to just on the outer edges of the feet. That's about hip width apart for us. Beautiful. Now very slowly rise to stand. So that's hip width apart. Hip width apart is not out here. Let me just demonstrate this, folks. Some people think hip width apart. I can just keep telling you hip width apart, right? That's hip width apart, Charlie. This hip width apart right here. No, hip width apart is your hip bones, and one way to good measure is bring your fists together. All right? And another good thing is to just roll those heels out to engage your glutes. That engages your glutes, the outer edges of your glutes. Now, I'm going to have Ashley just roll back and forth on her feet. Go back and forth, tippy toes, heels, tippy toes, heels. We want to awaken the senses of the feet. Plantar, surface of the feet. Why do we want to awaken them? Because we use them. They're going to be our foundation for this pose. And then we come to stillness and we find our center. Now from here, I'm going to ask Ashley just slight bend in her knees, a softening of the knees, softening. We don't want to hyperextend here. All right, so there's a place between bend and hyperextending. We want to be in the muscle, not in the joint. Very important. And we're going to do 2 demonstrations here, one just like this and one with a block. So Ashley, I'm going to ask you to begin to bring your inner thighs without moving your legs. Begin to engage those inner thighs. Notice how that engages the glutes a little, and it draws your chest and heart forward a little bit. So from here, I'm going to ask Ashley to take her right hand onto her belly, pull the belly in, belly button in towards the spine. Left hand on top of the head, lift up through the crown, so top of the head, lifts up, tuck the chin back, pull the belly up. Notice how her shoulders just landed over her hips. Now you're going to keep the belly in towards the spine, but you're going to lower the hands alongside you. And you're going to engage your glutes, palms facing forward. And you're going to soften your shoulders. You're going to soften your jaw by parting your lips. You're going to soften the space between your eyebrows. And since I've been working with Ashley for a long time, she's comfortable with me coming over and giving her a hands-on adjustment. One hands-on adjustment, that's great, but you can do this energetically, and you can do this by talking, and you can do this by placing your hands in the right spot. So we're just going to come over and give Ashley just a little gentle, little adjustment. I'm putting my hands behind her shoulders so that she can, and then what I do is I pinch my fingers together. That brings her shoulder blades in towards one another. And then I take my hand and I just lift up on the top of her head so she lifts up through the crown. That lengthens the back of her neck. The last thing I do is I just take my hand right up by her sternum and I push, right by the top of her chest, and I push it back just a bit. Yeah, there you go. And then I have her just lift this part up just a bit. There you go. Take the sternum back. There you go. Beautiful. Now Ashley is in Tadasana. And she can straighten out her knees just a bit more without locking. And then now, for proprioception, or to find or be aware of our body in space, to connect with our inner self, I'm going to ask Ashley to gently close her eyes. And now her body's going to sway, just a bit. Why is the body swaying? It's trying to find homeostasis or balance. Her inner thighs or adductors are engaged. Her glutes are engaged. Max, minimum, minimus, they're all engaged. Rhomboids, her shoulder blades are engaged. Her abdominal muscles, oblique muscles. Her chest is open and stretched. Her shoulders are open and stretched. Her biceps and triceps are working to sustain her arms here. Her lat muscles are working. And all of this is going on just to hold us in place. And I'm going to ask Ashley to soften into the space just a bit more. Relax the chest just a bit. Relax the jaw. You can make Tadasana a standing meditation, a standing savasana. They say 2 minutes of Tadasana a day keeps the doctor away. That's just a little corny yoga joke. Actually, 2 minutes of Tadasana a day helps tremendously with posture, centering, balance, and provides an inner experience unlike no other in a standing pose. And then very, very slowly, actually, I'm going to ask you to float your eyes open. Have the hands just face in toward the body, release the hold, and just notice how you feel. Notice how you feel. Any feedback? Did you?
So it was really felt like a meditation, and what was really cool is for the incarcerated women who don't feel comfortable sort of shutting down and meditating, we teach a walking meditation, and I've never thought about teaching a standing meditation before, and because when you're walking, you do have to make sure you don't bump into obstacles and stuff, so I feel like a standing meditation could be a really great solution for them, where they can draw inward more than a walking meditation, but still feel like that they are protecting themselves against their surroundings by standing and being engaged. So I found that actually I went into a state of meditation. So thank you.
Awesome, my pleasure. Okay, so then from here, now we're going to move into our sun salutations. We're going to go slow, nice and easy. We're doing a basic sun salutation A, and we're going to weave in just a part B, so that we still stay consistent with the sun salutations, stay consistent with movement. 2 things in pregnancy: twisting is not an option. No twisting. No twisting, no twisting, no twisting. So you will not see Ashley twist or doing any twisting with the torso or anything like that. So Ashley, come to the top of the mat, whichever way you decide to. Face.
We can.
A little water.
Right.
Maybe just move your props off to the side. Keep the blocks close by them. Perfect. All right, Ashley. Starting from Tadasana. Inhale the arms straight out and up to Urdhva Hastasana.
I'm just going to do my fist check because I thought that was a good tip and trick. We're getting Peter's 25 years of experience. So thank you. Okay, sorry.
No problem. Inhale, arms reach out and overhead. Slight bend in your knees. Belly in to protect the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Fold like a rag doll. Yes, you can fold if you're pregnant. Let your head be heavy. Let your head be heavy. Inhale, hands to shins for a half lift. Slight bend in your knees to protect your spine, belly in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, plant the hands onto the earth and step back to plank. We're going to do 3 different planks. If this is too much for you because of the extra weight of the pregnancy, you can always lower the knees down. Okay, that's perfectly acceptable. If you have sensitivity in your wrist, you can come down to your forearms with your knees down. If you feel you want the heat, you want to bring it. If you have a good practice of planks, you can come up to the hands and straighten out the legs. Inhale. Exhale. Now, if you have a belly, not a good option. But if you're in your 2nd trimester and maybe you just have a little basketball inside you, or your belly is not yet showing, you can come down to the knees. And then from here, drop your chest and chin straight down between the hands, but keep your bum up into the air. Keep your bum nice and high. And then from here, slide yourself onto your knees. And then come on to lower your head down, but keep your head slightly lifted because of the belly. And come into baby cobra. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. And exhale. Remember, this is about building strength. This is about building interconnectivity and the connection with yourself and the beautiful gift you've been given. And then from here, inhale. Exhale, press yourself back to child pose. Now, in child pose, several different options. Knees apart is a must, big toes together. If you feel as though you want to be a little bit more protective, you can take a bolster, which I'm about to take. No, I got you. You take a bolster. Place it under your chest and give space for the belly. Just remember, be mindful that you want to turn your head to one side or the other. Again, 2nd trimester, sun salutation. And then from here, inhale into tabletop. Slide the bolster away. Tuck the toes under, exhale, downward facing dog. Since this may be the first down dog of the day, be mindful that your knees are bent. Yeah. Ashley loves to slide, so her hands are sliding ever so slightly. And then from here, begin to step your right foot forward, left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, press into the feet. Rise to stand, Tadasana. So we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to weave in. We have already weaved in the anatomy for Tadasana, mountain pose. We're going to weave in the anatomy for forward fold a little. All right. Inhale, arms reach out and overhead from Tadasana to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold. So in this forward fold, hanging like a rag doll, I'm going to ask Ashley to slightly bend her knees and reach for the opposite elbows. What's protecting us here? Pulling our belly in towards the spine, bending the knees using our quads, stretching the hamstrings, stretching the glute muscles, engaging the quads to sustain us. Planting the hands onto the earth, and then coming to a half lift that begins to stretch the quad, stretch the hamstrings and glutes a bit more. Breathe, Ashley. Stretches out the lower back. Stretches out the upper back. Exhale, fold again. Beautiful. This is an entire back body stretch. And when you hug the opposite elbows, it allows your neck and shoulders to stretch even more. Let the head just fall to the ground. Yeah. Shake your head yes. Shake your head no. That gets the tension out of the back of the neck. Inhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Plank, whichever suits you. Again, one other option in plank is if you're feeling, you know what, I want to do plank, but I'm a little tired, could drop the right knee down. That's perfectly fine, or left knee, whichever is working for you. Thank you to Ashley. And in plank, what are we strengthening? Shoulders, chest, upper back, glutes, hamstrings, calves, quads, core. 5 more breaths here, Ashley. 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop the knees down, chest and chin straight between the hands. Good. And then roll yourself up to cobra, full cobra. Beautiful. So this is another option for you. And if this is too much, you can always lower down a little. You can lower down, just be mindful. Just be mindful. One little cue here. Maybe we won't do it on this round, we'll do it the second round because we're gonna do another sun salutation. One little cue here is you can place a blanket under the belly. Draw your elbows in toward the midline. So you're strengthening your chest, your shoulders, upper back, stretching your quad, strengthening your glutes and hamstrings. Toning your core. Stretching out your hip flexor. Hip flexor attaches from the spine all the way to the top of the hip in the front of the body. Another name for hip flexor is psoas. Inhale one more time, Ashley. Exhale, press back to child's pose. Whichever child's pose is good for you, depending on the size of your belly. We'll let Ashley rest because we've been pushing her a little bit.
I have a question for our teacher trainees. When you have a prenatal client, sometimes in child's pose, we do an adjustment. Would you recommend or not recommend?
I would recommend an adjustment only if the client gives you permission and the client feels safe. When you do, if the client does give you permission and the client feels safe, so it's about permission and safety, right? Mm-hmm. I would not adjust directly on the spine. I would adjust the glutes and I would adjust the quads and upper back. I'll demonstrate. So I'm gonna just step off to the side here. We don't want to press directly on the lower back, directly right here.
So just to clarify, so that would sort of be a difference between if you had a non-pregnant class versus a pregnant class.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Ashley's not pregnant, so I can do this. In a non-pregnant class, you can actually give your client, if you're doing one-on-ones, a tiny little spinal, like tiny little massage like this, one side, the other, right? But for our purposes in this, I'm just gonna place my hand gently on her sacrum. She's comfortable. We went over the permission slip 2 or 3 years ago when we met, all right? So the first thing I would do is I'm not pressing, this is just a guide, or consider this the mother hand. And this hand here, I'm just gonna pull the lower back. I'm not pressing down, I'm going this way. I'm just guiding her spine to stretch. And there's a little bit of length that just happened. And then the next thing I would do is, see, I'm a male. I'm not going to go behind her like this. That's not proper. What you do is, even a female, don't do that with it. Go off to the side and just press the thighs. If you feel comfortable. You don't have to put a lot of pressure.
So I think like as a general rule of thumb to help people remember, when in doubt, stay away from the middle
Yes.
with pregnant people.
Yes.
So if you are going to make an adjustment,
Yes.
make it on the leg. So even something like child's pose where you think, okay, we adjust the middle, you know what?
Stay away.
Stay away from the middle. If you want to adjust something, you can adjust the thighs.
Nice.
And then the other thing I was going to say, and sorry, I'm a notorious micromanager, but when you were brushing up on my spine, another technique is to use the back of your hand.
Yep.
And that's like a way to sort of prevent putting too much pressure.
Yep.
So I don't know if you want to demonstrate that.
Yeah. Back of the hand demonstrates her to lengthen here. And automatically, as soon as you do this, we all lengthen, we all tend to grow a little bit more. And then if you feel like you really want to nourish your client even more, you want to make them permanently yours, you just get into the shoulders a little.
Peter's a certified massage therapist. I recommend him to a friend. Presence Wellness in Westport, Connecticut. It's awesome.
Thank you. Okay. And again, you can press the outer edges of the thighs. And if you want to get into the glutes a little bit, if your client's comfortable, you can just, again, just the outer edges of the glutes, just like that. Getting into the hip joint. Getting into glute medius, which is discussed in anatomy. Okay, I'm going to step off to the side. Enough camera of me. Enough of me in the camera. And I'm going to ask Ashley to inhale, come up into tabletop. And let's do a few cat-cows, Ashley. Good. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Come into a neutral spot. Inhale. Tuck the toes under. Exhale. Lift the hips up and back. Down facing dog. Now, in down dog, if I wanted to, step off to the side, can make a little adjustment. I can take my knees here so that Ashley doesn't slide. Press her chest, see where I'm pressing. I'm not pressing here, pressing here. Chest towards her knees.
I'm going to take advantage, but
Yeah,
if I'm hurting you, let me know.
Not at all. As long as you're okay. Chest towards her knees. And then let her head go. And you can also massage the neck right here. Another good thing to do if you have a private client.
But let me know if I'm hurting you.
Not at all. Not at all. Okay. And then I'm going to ask Ashley to please walk her feet towards her hands. Beautiful. Forward, forward. Inhale, hands to shins. Exhale, press into your feet. Belly in, rise to stand. Beautiful. Reach the arms out and overhead. Inhale, mountain pose. Close your eyes or have a soft gaze. Again, in yoga, in these type of postures, in these type of asanas or sun salutations, vinyasas. A vinyasa is a sun salutation. FYI. All a vinyasa is linking one or more poses together with another. That's all vinyasa means. So we're going to weave in one challenging pose into the sun salutation A, and then turn it into an A+. Okay? We're going to inhale, the arms reach out and overhead from Tadasana into Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, chair pose. Ashley knew exactly where I was going because that's my favorite pose, right, Ashley? Chair pose. I murder people in chair. Now, shift your weight into your heels. Shift your weight into your toes. Shift your weight into your heels. Shift your weight into your toes. Find your chair. Come to balance. Now, draw your shoulders down just a bit. Your gaze is directly out in front. And then imagine there's a chair behind you and sit back a bit more. Good. Imagine someone's pressing into your belly I'm just going to demonstrate what I mean. Imagine just pressing into this part where your belly button is, and then there's a little rope back here in her sacrum. Somebody's pulling the sacrum back. So she shifts her weight into her heels. And then the next thing you want to do is just push the knees back and have her bend down just a bit. Good. Now imagine squeezing your thighs together. Same thing like a Tadasana. Relax your shoulders away from the ears. And extend your arms out in front. Out in front. Draw the shoulder blades back. Beautiful. Inhale. Close the eyes. Exhale, forward fold. Ragdoll. Thank you, Ashley. Beautiful. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, baby cobra or cobra. Tuck the toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. Notice that we skipped child's pose. Inhale, step your right foot forward, left foot forward, forward fold. Exhale, press into the feet, slight bend in the knees, belly pulled in, rise to stand. Arms reach out and overhead. Inhale, mountain pose. So find your meditation, find rest. You can use mountain pose, although it is work, you can also soften it and find rest. Palms facing forward, feet hip width apart, getting those outer thighs engaged by rolling the heels out, softening the knees. Nice, Ashley. Lifting up through the crown is pulling the belly in, dropping your sacrum down. Imagine you have a heavy tail, like a dragon's tail, and it keeps dropping down as you keep lifting up through the crown. I like to say root down through the feet to rise up through the crown. Root to rise. A few more breaths here in her standing meditation. Turning your focus and attention inward, constantly reminding your students to turn their focus and attention inward. Not that we have our eyes on them, that they have their eyes on their inner self. Become increasingly aware of the body. And let all thoughts arise. Positive, negative, self-doubt, good intentions. Let them all come to the forefront. And know that we have nothing to do. We don't have to do anything with them, but just be. Most people are afraid to be alone with their thoughts. I say befriend that aspect of yourself. Do not be afraid to be alone with your thoughts. Be afraid not to be alone. Inhale, arms reach out and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift again, hands to shins. Exhale, chair pose. Beautiful, shoulders away from the ears. We're going to do a different chair this time. We're going to have Ashley heel toe her feet together. So this begins to engage and practice our balance, right? Actually, you feel your balance. All of a sudden, it's like, uh-oh.
It's like mono-skiing.
Yes, exactly. Draw the shoulders back. Sit back in your chair a bit more. Good. Palms facing in. Good. So from here, we can create a little heat by squeezing the thighs, pulling the shoulder blades back. The gaze directly out in front of us. Engaging our core, our belly. Amazing chair pose right here, Ashley. Amazing. So let's create a little bit more heat and a little bit more fire. Although this is beginner, the student wants to feel a little challenged, guess what you do? Have them lift their heels a half inch. The heart rate gets going, and then tell them to close their eyes for just a brief moment, and then open, and then close, and then open, and then close and plant the heels down. If you were wearing a heart monitor watch, your heart rate would be a little over 100 right now. Ashley's being very modest. She's like, why is this guy heating me up so much? This is how you can create a little more fire without having to do some crazy flowing. Beautiful, Ashley. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. You have to give Ashley a round of applause for that, because that is not easy to do. Inhale. Exhale. Hugging the opposite elbows, lengthening through the back of the neck. Inhale, plant the hands. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, shift your weight forward, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra, or maybe up dog if you want to add a little heat. Beautiful.
I wanted to, sorry, I don't know if I should do it now or later, but demonstrate with the bolster underneath.
We'll do it one more round.
Okay.
Exhale, child's pose. So I want you to get a rest. Beautiful. Notice how you can create heat without doing big time vinyasa flows. So to me, in pregnancies, we want to build interconnectedness. We want to build confidence, body awareness, befriend the way our bodies are about to change as we move forward. Also, create a little challenge for ourselves. Stability, strength. Focus on the inner thighs and core for when the mother gives birth. Maybe the birthing process won't be as challenging. Again, as long as it's done safely, with them guiding themselves, or we as practitioners guiding them safely. And then from here, Ashley, inhale, come into tabletop. Tuck the toes under, exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot forward, left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, press into the feet, rise to stand. Mountain pose. Palms facing in towards one another. Inhale. Exhale. To start, now, to open the chest, palms facing forward. Beautiful. Breathe in. Breathe out. Tadasana, the foundation. Inhale, arms reach out and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Feet together. 3 breaths in your chair. Shoulders away from the ears. Belly in. Drop the sacrum down. Add a little bit more heat. Inhale, lift the heels 2 inches for 2 breaths. 1, 2, lower the heels down. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step back to plank. Shift your weight forward. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Now, if we wanted to support Ashley in her up dog or in her into her cobra, she would rest her thighs, upper thighs, and then there we go. This gives room for the belly right here. Gives room for the belly. And this is also a supported up dog. And the only thing I would have Ashley do is just, again, maintain the Tadasana of the upper body by drawing her shoulder blades in, lifting up and lengthening through the crown. And then I would do this to tell her, imagine engaging your shoulder blades together and then engaging your glutes at the same time. Good job,
I just
Ashley.
wanted to say, I usually do this with a bolster, and I actually find the blanket so much more comfortable because it's firmer. And
yes.
you feel a lot more stable.
More stable, more support.
Using the blanket. So thank you for that teaching tip.
You're welcome.
So we're all learning.
And then now, the only thing I would ask Ashley to do is support herself more is press into the thumb side of the hand, pinky side, and then the middle finger. That gets your biceps and triceps activated. So we're going to have a whole list for the rest of the video. What do you think? Breathing action. Yeah, this is another way to build strength, upper body strength. The way I teach prenatal yoga is I like for the student to build strength, to maintain strength, not necessarily flow. You can get, believe me, her heart rate is up there. You can get the heart rate up there just by holding static poses. 3 to 5 breaths, 10 breaths, whichever you'd like. And then from here, exhale, child pose. And now the bolster or blanket is right there. She can bring her knees apart. Rest her head and arms on the blanket. Now, if she wants to rest her arms, can you bring your arms forward? I just want to demonstrate one thing. If her arms are on the blanket, she begins to get a stretch through the tricep into the lat muscle. So the lat muscle starts here, goes out. Lat muscles for extension of the arm lifting up, just like I just did. And she gets a little passive, gentle stretch through this area, right through here, and through the triceps. And she says, well, I don't really feel much of a stretch. I would have her tent her fingers as if she had a ball in each hand. Tent the fingertips down. Then I would have her lift her triceps, lift her elbows up. Yeah, now do you feel a stretch, Ashley?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great stretch for the upper body.
Yeah, and it also feels like it's lengthening.
Lengthening, exactly. And you also get a good stretch in your lower body. So it stretches the lat muscle, which comes around, and it also stretches through the lower back as well. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Press yourself up into tabletop. Tuck the toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful, Ashley. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, walk your feet towards your hands. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press into your feet. Exhale, rise to stand. Come back to mountain pose. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale and exhale. So we've done many rounds of sun salutation. Now let's go quickly, and I'll weave in just a little bit of reminder of anatomy and cues. Inhale, arms reach out and overhead. Exhale, chair pose, a different approach. Feet together or not, depending on what you want to do. Add a little bit more heat. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, lower the heels down. Remember, building heat and balance and more core strength by lifting the heels. Where's our core? Ashley, take your hands and just place them on your core. Good. On your obliques to the sides. Good. That's what that strengthens. What else does it strengthen? Hamstrings, glutes. Exhale, forward fold. A stretch for the entire back body. From the back of the neck all the way through the legs. Tones the abs because you have to engage them to be in this pose. Shortens the quads, so you're strengthening them, you're contracting the quads. In Uttanasana, standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, plant the hands. Exhale, fold one more time. Inhale, plant the hands, bend the knees, step back to plank. In plank, strengthening your shoulders, strengthening your chest, strengthening your biceps, triceps, strengthening the upper back, glutes, hamstrings, thighs, calves, and most importantly, core. Inhale, lower the knees, chest and chin straight down. Exhale, press yourself up into either baby cobra or cobra, whichever you choose. In cobra, you're stretching your psoas, strengthening the upper back, neck, and shoulders, strengthening the glutes, hamstrings, stretching the quads, strengthening the arms, biceps, triceps, chest. Exhale, child pose. Even in child pose, you're doing something. What are you doing besides relaxing? You're stretching the upper back, neck, and shoulders. Stretching the upper back, neck, and shoulders. And then from here, I'm going to ask Ashley to come over onto her back. We've done a lot of sun salutations. And then hug her knees to chest. Now, in hugging her knees to chest, now she had a belly. Would she do this? She would have her knees apart, almost like in happy baby pose, almost, just the knees apart though. Why? Because it's a reverse of child pose, right? So can you bring your knees together, Ashley? Like a traditional knees to chest? She'd be compressing the belly. Now she wasn't showing, that's fine. But we don't want to do that. And I'm gonna have Ashley do a happy baby. Beautiful. So in this happy baby, we're gonna have Ashley work a little bit. I'm gonna have Ashley lift her head, tuck her chin, press the back of the head down. And then at the same time, she's gonna press her sacrum down, lower back. So you see her sacrum press down. Now she's stretching her hamstrings, her glutes, lower back. Beautiful, Ashley. Happy baby. Begin to rock the hips side to side. Beautiful. Very good on the spine. And now, Ashley, I'm going to have you lower your left hand down and then extend your left leg onto the mat. So a half happy baby. I'm going to have Ashley flex her left foot, take her left hand on top of her left thigh, press the left thigh down. So right here, the reason why she has why her leg is lifted there is because her hip flexor, or psoas on her left side, which attaches from the front of her hip into her abdominals, is a little tight. We're going to work on that. I'm going to have Ashley take her right foot, place it on top of her right thigh. Right foot on top of right thigh.
Right thigh.
It's always a thing. Left thigh.
Okay.
Right arm out to the side. See? Doesn't matter how much experience you have, you can still get it wrong. I am the worst at mirroring, just so you know. You don't have to be a perfect. Call out cues. This is why we love doing it live, because this is how we are. A lot of jokes, a lot of fun. Left hand on the outside of the right thigh. Draw your left knee across the body. Beautiful.
Oh, wait, but
No, not up,
twist.
not up. Just draw it across the body. Try to maintain your right hip down.
And what I said before, and let me know, if you want to add to this, but basically I said as a rule of thumb in one of the last videos, I said imagine your belly button is a flashlight and you just always want that flashlight pointing between your hips. That way you know
Perfect.
you're not twisting your middle. So
Perfect.
if you're twisting your neck, that doesn't affect the flashlight.
Perfect.
If this knee goes, I can do it as far as it will go without affecting this sort of like
Perfect.
belly button flashlight pushing on the ceiling. So, it's reality. So this is as far as my knee goes while keeping my right hip down. So we're real people here.
You're supposed to keep the middle of the right hip down when you do these, because a lot of people, and just do what most people do, actually just roll over onto the left.
Like
So
this
most
is
people
for
do this.
non-pregnant.
Well, not only is this for non-pregnant, but the thing is, you don't get a stretch this way at all. You get zero stretch. So see, she's not twisting, and this is very safe for pregnancy, because now, if she presses her right hip down, not with the right hand, just press it down with the glute, activate the glute. And then, just activate the glute, and now draw the right knee across the body, just gonna press. Yeah, now she's getting a stretch. Now, if you're doing a private session, or if you're teaching in a group setting in person, I'm gonna come off to the camera a second, and then I'm gonna hog the camera by showing you what we need. So I'm gonna take my hand, palm down. I'm gonna slide it here. I'm gonna have Ashley just press her hip back into my hand, all right? Then I'm gonna take my hand here, just press this down so that her shoulder stays down. And I'm just going to press the knee down. So just by doing this, she's getting a deeper stretch right in here. And if we want a deeper stretch, if she doesn't have a big belly, you can begin to bring this up a little bit. Hold here, push down a little. So see, her belly button, nose, and chin are still pointed straight up. She's only twisting from the hip, not from the torso. Very important. Okay, Ashley. I'm going to ask you to take your right hand and bring your knee into chest and away from the rib cage.
And already I feel this drop so much from when we started.
Exactly. And then now from here, bring the left knee into chest. Come into a half happy baby on the left side, extend your right leg long. Knee away from the midline, or away from the rib cage. And then reach for the toes of the left foot. Beautiful. Half happy baby. Right hand presses the right hip down. Very good, Jim. Breathe in. And breathe out. Inhale. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale. And then from here, Ashley, begin to place your left foot on top of your right thigh. This time I got it right, didn't I? Left foot on top of the right thigh. Extend your left arm out to the side. Again, don't twist. Don't twist. Keep that left hip down. See, she went to twist there a little bit because that's what she's used to doing, right? So she wants to keep the left hip down. Just bring the knee across. Breathe into this space. Inhale, lengthen with each stretch. Imagine the glute and lower back just opening. Exhale, deepen into the space. So we're creating space from where? The inside out. Here at ShareLove.Fund, we have fun. But we also get a lot of work done. And with the amazing leader, Ashley, she makes it fun. And we all make it crazy at the same time. Inhale, lengthen. This is a breath cue. Exhale, deepen into this space. And one of the things while you're pregnant, just need to mention this here. So we're stretching our glutes, stretching the left side of the body, maybe also into the shoulder. When you're taking these breaths, no forceful belly breaths. Gentle belly breaths. I don't care what stage of pregnancy you're in, even if it's the day before you're about to give birth, no forceful belly breaths, please. No Kapalabhati, which is it's a snapping of the belly. Some people know that already, some people don't. It's taught in your 200-hour. And we hold these poses for several breaths. You can hold it time-wise, 30 seconds. You You can hold it for 10 breaths, 5 breaths. Why? Because you want to calm the body, calm the nervous system. And again, you can even close your eyes here and make this a meditation. You can make every single pose, no matter how challenging or how easy, you can make it a meditation. The whole process can be a meditation. A whole sun salutation can be a meditation. Visualize your body moving into a position. See it and execute. Once we give our body that permission and we know it's safe to move, it's easy for that invitation to receive us. Remember, yoga is an invitation to move inward and to move our body. And the gift that we receive from that is interconnectedness, peace, one. And maybe in this case, if you're pregnant, 2. Getting to know this body as we're creating a life within us. Me excluded because I'm a male, so. And then from here, Ashley, gently begin to bring your left knee into chest and then away from the rib cage. Right knee into chest, away from the rib cage. Notice I'm not going to ask her to do happy baby again. I'm going to ask Ashley, we're going to do a deep back bend because I want her thighs to stretch. So I'm going to ask her to please plant her feet onto the earth. Have our hands alongside us. Walk her feet, walk her heels towards her fingertips. Not necessarily reach, you don't have to. And then inhale, press the backs of the shoulders, point your feet, all 10 toes forward. Turn your heels outward. Good. And then lift your hips slowly toward the sky. I'm going to ask Ashley to make space for her to breathe. Lift her chin ever so slightly. Now lift her chest. Press into your feet. Lift your hips straight up toward the sky. And begin to walk your hands beneath you. Interlace your hands if you can. Press your elbows down, pinkies down. Getting a stretch across the front of the chest. Engaging your glutes. Again, strengthening the back body, hamstrings, glutes, stretching the quads. If I ask Ashley to press into her big toes, don't have to lift, just press into your big toes, you begin to feel the quads stretch a little bit, don't you, Ashley? And it actually forces you to engage your glutes a bit more. Pressing into the big toes and forces you to engage your glutes a bit more. To add a little extra heat, you can have a client place a block between the thighs. We won't do that here. But you can have a client place a block between the thighs for extra heat. And then to make space for her to descend or lower, I will ask Ashley to take an inhale. And on the exhale, bring the hands apart, hip width apart. Inhale. Exhale. On an 8 count, begin to lower the upper body, lower body toward the earth. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, I'm going to ask Ashley to bring her arms out to shoulder height. Walk her knees and her feet to the width of the mat. Again, now she's not twisting the upper body, only the lower body. So you're going to lower both knees over to the left.
Okay, figuring out which left that is. Okay.
Beautiful. So now we're stretching the thigh, the right thigh. Do you still feel safe here if you were pregnant, Ashley?
Yeah, and actually I appreciate this because I was wondering, how can we, all those really feel-good restorative poses that we often do in a regular restorative yoga class, I was a little bit challenged, like how do we give prenatal clients that same restorative feel, but not twist when so many of those common restorative poses are kind of like cleansing twists. And so this windshield wiper, the knees, you know, it's a great idea. So I guess if we, you know, sort of think of our bodies as lower body, middle body, and upper body, almost like those little paper dolls when you change their clothes or something, you know, it's like this part, we keep the outfit, but then we can, you know, move this, and then also the up and down of the spine we can do. So this is like a very nice restorative option, and also being pregnant is a chance to really focus on opening the hips.
Exactly. And you can do this pose for 5 to 10 breaths, 30 seconds. And it is very nourishing for the hips. And then inhale very slowly, begin to bring the knees up through center. Be mindful that the feet are to the width of the mat. Exhale, lower both knees over towards the right, slowly.
And it also strengthens, or I guess stretches the shoulders behind the back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you wanted to get the shoulders stretched, she can take her left hand, begin to bring it over her head, onto the ground, but over her head. When you're ready, you feel that actually right in the hip flexor now, right? In front of the hip. So we'll demonstrate it on the right side. Great to talk about that. Let's do the right side one more time so you can see what it looks like on the right side. So the stretch is going from her knee into the upper part of the thigh on the right side, into the rib cage, hip flexor, and chest, and arm. And then very slowly slide the hands alongside you. And then draw the knees up to center. And just bring the knees apart. I'm sorry, leave the feet apart, bring the knees together. He actually knows me. She knew I was going for the knees together. Now we want to keep this more restorative because this is beginner, right? So there's 2 options you can do here. I'm going to go for the softer option, but if you don't have a blanket or a block, you can do this without. You can roll up a pillow, roll up a blanket. Since we do have props here, and this is a class for everyone, whether you're incarcerated, whether you're home, I'm going to ask Ashley to please bring her arms out to the side and then lift her hips. And I'm going to slide this bolster right under her hips. And I'm going to have her rest her hips down. Very restorative. Her whole face just changed without her realizing it. And some clients might need a little pillow under the neck. Ashley doesn't need it, but that's also a good option. So for me, if I were to have Ashley go into Savasana at this point, obviously she would be all the way on the, let's do this properly, Ashley. Let's just lift your hips. I'm going to ask you just to come to the top of the mat.
Sitting or laying down?
Laying down.
Okay.
That's it, you're good. Now, bend your knees. Lift your hips, slide the hands away, and let's place this beneath you. Okay, I'm going to have you slowly plant your hips there. How does that feel on the lower back?
It feels really nicely supported, and because the tailbone is lifted up a little bit, it helps sort of decrease that lower back curve in the lumbar spine. So it uses gravity to kind of strengthen or lengthen my back. Yeah.
So you can she can leave her legs right here. If she's feeling lower back tenderness, if her lower back is sore during her pregnancy, you can have her bring the knees together very gently. That relaxes the hip flexor. Hip flexor's right here.
Sorry, I'm just going to add, this feels really great on the lower back because nothing's actually touching my lower back. So it's just creating space underneath it for it to align itself with like the gentle help of gravity.
Well, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to have Ashley, if she wants to, she can stay right here. But we're gonna check in with her after we move to a different part of this posture. I'm going to ask her just to extend her legs nice and easy, as if she were in Savasana, and let her feet just drop open. You know, in Savasana, we just allow our feet to just drop open. Bring the legs apart. So I'm going to check in with Ashley one more time. So tell me, is there a change on the lower back? Is there a little bit more relaxation? Is there, like, tell me what's going on in the lower back.
So when I do this, my hips rolled a little bit more forward. So with the placement of the bolster, my lower back actually does have the support of the bolster. And what I feel here is my back just completely supported. And then I feel the stretch in my hips just like being able to just kind of naturally open up. And so this is just like a really nice, subtle hip opener. Just like from here, because a lot of times when we do it, it's all these other muscles, but this is just really,
Focus.
I guess like the pelvis, I don't know, you're the
So,
weaker.
hip flexion, I'm just going to use Mr. Bones here for a moment.
Okay. Miss Bones.
Miss Bones, sorry about that, Miss Bones. Miss or Mr. Bones, or just Bones. Bones McCoy. So the hip flexor attaches the front of the spine, and it runs through this area here. It runs through this area here. All right? It's called iliacus. It runs right through here, and attaches to the upper part of the inner thigh, which is there's a little bone called your lesser trochanter right here. Right there. That's where it attaches. Okay? And so what Ashley is describing as being stretched is from this area through the front of the hip into this area. So sometimes if their hips are very tight in the pregnancy, you might even feel the stretch in the groin because of the way that the hip flexor travels right through the groin, right through that area, and attaches here, upper inner thigh. Now I'm going to have her close her eyes or have a soft gaze, and palms are going to be face up. And if you're working one-on-one, I will ask Ashley permission. Is it okay that I come around and make any type of adjustments to you or any type of touching going on?
Yes.
Meaning like your head, neck, shoulders, feet. Are you okay with that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. She gave me free rein. So I will never, in any type of yoga class, if you're comfortable in a group setting or one-on-one, you can always come around, and if you want to ground your student, let's say you have one student that just is really feeling off in this pregnancy. Maybe she's feeling a little anxious about the pregnancy, a little nervous about doing any type of movements in any way, which is fine to feel that way. That's why she's here for yoga, and here for us to be guided with our support. You can just ground her, just by literally just holding onto her feet. And maybe that's the only student you touch for the day. That's fine. And if you feel like it, you can just begin to just do some pressure points in the arch. No specific points. There's nothing real special to touch. Just grounding, holding, breathing with them, watching their belly rise, watching their belly fall. And then maybe just have them a little cue if they're bleeding heavy or fast to slow it down. You can take one leg and just give it a gentle little stretch. The other leg, gentle little stretch. And again, come back to you can come around to the top. Now, you don't have to do both. You can come around to the top. See, when you're doing a private, it's a lot easier to be able to do both the top part and back part. You can take your hand, just reach under, tell the student, just relax. Make sure your hand is warm. Reach under the neck, grab the top of the forehead, and don't lift. Just a little traction, just a gentle little pull. You're not going to hurt or snap the neck. We're not twisting anything. And this also, when you do this, you ask them to part their lips. And if they have trouble parting their lips, just take your hand on their chin and then just give them a little tiny little massage in the jaw, a couple circles. Maybe even reach for the ears, give them a little massage. The ears always feel amazing. There's some kidney points in the ears, don't worry about where they are. And just hold the ear. Give it a gentle little tug. It relieves a lot of tension in the temple, back of the head. Again, you can go back to the jaw, 2 to 3 circles, just in the jaw. Nothing specific. You're not pressing hard, you're just rubbing your hands or fingertips on their jaw. Then you can take your thumbs and place it onto the third eye, draw attention to that area, space between the eyebrows, and ask them to soften the eyelids. And then begin to just softly press into the eyebrows. And then maybe you just take the hands, gently, gently press the shoulders away. Press the tops of the shoulders to open the chest more and just breathe with them. Just support them, breathe with them. Again, nothing special. All you're doing is grounding them. I like to finish with just my hand under the back of the head. Again, not lifting anything, just under. And placing one hand onto the third eye. And make sure you're taking care of yourself while you're doing this. Your shoulders away from your ears. Your belly's pulled in to support your spine. And just peel away nice and slow. It's about supporting your client or clients. And then very slowly, like all good parties, whether you're a relaxed party or in a party where you're uplifted and dancing, they must come to a pause. I don't like to say end, pause. I'm going to gently have Ashley begin to wiggle her fingertips and wiggle her toes. Plant the feet onto the earth. Draw her knees in towards her chest. But because she's pregnant, right, she's not bringing them in right away. And then gently, 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 instead of rolling over, right, because she's going to twist. Actually, she can if she does it together. So I'm going to have Ashley twist the whole entire body, roll the whole entire body over onto either the right or left side.
I think also, like, if you ground, if you connect this arm to this leg,
Yep.
you move the parts.
Exactly. And then because her cushion is right there, I'm going to have Ashley sit up. And instead of facing forward, I'm going to have her face me. So bring the cushion around with you. And then close your eyes or have a soft gaze. Place the hands onto the thighs. palms facing up, ready to receive. Remember, it's about nourishing, guiding, a safe, comfortable, relaxing, a little bit of work, yet restorative practice for this beautiful gift of life and this being in front of you. Two beings, actually. You cannot see, you haven't met yet, and one you know. So you're going to have actually go on a little journey inside, inward, to relax her jaw, soften her face. I'm going to have her draw her elbows a little closer in toward the midline to relax her shoulders. We're going to close this practice with a meditation. I'm going to make this a silent, gentle breathing meditation. You can choose whichever meditation you like or that your client may suggest. Always be open to their suggestions if they have one that works for them. So you can consider this a guided meditation. Gently pulling the belly in toward the spine. Rising up through the crown of the head. Dropping your sacrum down toward the earth. Looking directly out in front. And then gently closing your eyes. Cultivating presence. Wherever you are, be all there. Eckhart Tolle, famous quote. Wherever you are, be all there. What does that mean? It means a lot. So whatever you're doing, be fully in. Be fully vested. As I am with you and Ashley is with me in this moment. And then begin to turn the focus and attention inward. Are there any areas in the body we need to soften? Are we forcing ourselves to sit here quietly? Or are we relaxing into this moment? Doesn't matter. What matters is that you're just here with all that is going on. Notice the internal language that we to-do list. After I leave here, I gotta go this, I gotta go there, am I doing the right thing? Am I sitting the right way? Am I gonna get critiqued? Am I there? Does it really matter? No. All that is noise. Think about 10 more rounds of breath, Ashley. Notice, it's not about sitting still and not honoring any movement. It's about honoring what is. Your body tells you to move, move. And then very, very slowly, begin to allow the eyes to float open. Just as you take the light of the Notice how you feel. Just notice. Without questioning, without judging. Did I do it right? Did I do it wrong? Who cares? Draw the hands gently to heart center. Elbows down to relax your shoulders. Elbows down. Yeah, there you go. This is the yang approach. With the elbows up, this is the yin approach. All about yin. Softening. Bowing your chin to chest in honor of you taking the time to be here now. Placing your forefingers or nose pointers, nose pickers, or fork fingers, whatever they call them, into your third eye or the space between the eyebrows. For the gift that means being open to just being. Inhale, lift the head in gratitude. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Do you want to talk to the students a little bit more and tell us how you feel? Tell us tell us what's going on in your body, if there's a shift? I think it's very important for the students just to know very quickly.
Yeah. I really felt so much meditative benefits from this class. I think that you can teach the same class to 10 different students, and depending on their mindset of that day, they might each get a different feel from it. So I don't know how much of that is subjective versus objective, but one thing as a teacher, and it's such a treat to actually be taught by others, and just on an unrelated point, but it is really important as a teacher to take classes from other people and also try to switch it up and get exposed to different teachers, because that really helps us keep our A game on as teachers, to have different experiences, because we can learn something from everyone. Even if you don't like a class, you can learn what not to do. So everything is a lesson learned. There are no mistakes. But anyway, one of the things that I've sort of contemplated about teaching is, whether or how much time to spend on meditations, because some people, they come to a class and they just want fitness, and some people want meditations. But what this class today has taught me is by slowing things down, doing the movement, but also taking some time to just hold postures and breathe, you can get the benefits of a meditation without having to do the full guided imagery, like a red robin is flying by and lifting you up with its wings. We don't have to do like a whole traditional guided imagery meditation to sort of get the benefits. You can weave in the benefits of meditation just through holding poses and concentrating on breath, which is really the quintessence of meditation. So that was sort of my, that's how I grew as a teacher through this teacher training, is I learned to not be so matter of fact about whether a class has a meditation or not. It can all actually work together. We can learn anatomy and move and experience meditative benefits and experiment with props and modifications, and this class really showed me how to integrate all of those teaching things into one class and still get a great workout and still feel relaxed. So thank you.
It's interesting how you can get a great workout without really having to move so fast, right? And if they're a beginner, right? Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And if they're a beginner, maybe you don't want them to move so fast because they might not understand where they are. Where's my foot supposed to be? Have them focus on the basics. Yoga is there's so many gifts of yoga, they're so profound, that you can just peel it down to the most basic form. And if you're a new teacher, stick to this. Stick to this simple sun salutation. Stick to the simple support. The students will absolutely love and adore you, will never want to go to someone else. Because most teachers, unfortunately, they're not taught to plug in and pay attention. Because why? They're busy, it's a big class. I say slow it down, maybe touch 1 or 2 clients if you are in a group setting. Keep your classes small to start. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. We all want to become an outlier in our practices. An outlier is just a person that practices the same thing, same method, over and over and over, until they feel like it's second nature. And this is just a guide and a framework, what we did today, to empower you to become the best version of yourself. And the best teachers are the best students. The best students are the best teachers. Take your own class. Take ours. Practice. Because that's where the gifts are. The gifts are between when you're about to teach the class, the worry about what you're going to do. The gift is the process between, the gap, right? It lessens the anxiety, it lessens the pressure, because guess what? You're prepared. And if you're overwhelmed, keep it simple. I follow this in business, in yoga, massage, in driving, and everything I do. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what I practice every single day. And it helps, because I'm pretty simple. And thank you, Ashley, for letting me guide you. And thank you, everyone out there in YouTube land, for listening to our fun, yet nurturing, silly, real class.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank you, Peter. I appreciate it. So,
Namaste. Namaste.